So the NBA Finals start tomorrow, and the stage is set for an absolutely classic series between the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. So today I'm just going to be going through, analyzing the series, and giving my predictions on how I think the series will play out. So this is the best finals matchup since 2016, I believe. The stakes for both sides, both for Dallas and Boston, are incredibly high. There are so many big storylines involving so many of the top players in this series, and both of these teams are teams who have yet to win a championship with their core. So there's just so much riding on this series, and no matter the outcome, the NBA landscape going into next year will change drastically, no matter if Dallas or Boston win. We're going to start off, we're going to talk about the Celtics side first. So what would it mean if the Celtics, what do these finals really mean for the Celtics? These finals are everything for the Boston Celtics. They need to win the series. This is the best chance the Celtics will have to win a championship in the Tatum and Brown era, and it's the best team the Celtics will ever have in the Tatum and Brown era. Everything the Celtics have done since drafting Jason Tatum, everything the front office has done, has been to put the Celtics in this exact situation. It's the hope that we can earn the situation that they did, and that is great regular season, proved to be, in my opinion, already an all-time great team. The analytics tell you that, and the eye test tells me that. I think the Celtics team overwhelms NBA teams with talent and chemistry and offensive and defensive skill more so than any team since the KD Warriors. I think it's the best team since that team. And what the Celtics get if they win this championship is everything solidified. The whole era solidified. This 5-year era after the KD Warriors is the Celtics. The last 5 years, the Celtics have been the most dominant team easily if they win the championship. 2 finals appearances, 1 championship, and 4 conference finals in that time, along with your 2 young stars just breaking out. And if the Celtics win the championship, Tatum gets no more criticism and will go down easily as a first ballot Hall of Famer. Won't be there yet, but I'm saying clearly is on that trajectory, and I would book it in. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer if the Celtics win the championship, and I would say also win the Finals MVP. But that kind of goes along with it. And if they lose, it's the exact opposite. It's skies falling in Boston. Everything's on the table. Fire sale if need be. Even though that won't happen, most likely. That's what people are going to be saying. And honestly, that line of thinking isn't the worst, and it's not really logical at all, because this is the best chance the Celtics will get. They had the best path because they earned it. They took care of business in the East. They got lucky with some opponents getting injured, but that happens every year. They took care of their business, and they have a chance to really solidify this playoff run. They have a great record going into the finals, but this is the best chance they're ever going to get, and they need to do it this year. And if they don't, everything's going to fall apart, and no one in Boston and no one in the country will think that the Celtics will give them credit. Will predict the Celtics win the championship if they lose this year going forward. They'll of course be one of the best teams in the league, and if they keep the same 5 going into next year, if they were to lose this year, they would be most likely in the Eastern Conference Finals. But the stakes are so high because it's as good of a time as it ever will be. You have to deal with Luka, but the Celtics have such a better team. You don't have to deal with Jokic, Giannis, Embiid, any of those guys, and it's as clear as it gets for the Celtics. Everything has led to this in the Tatum and Brown era. Everyone in Boston knows how important this series is, and they need to capitalize on it. So now I'm going to talk about the series from the Mavs perspective and what would happen to the Mavericks and to the Luka, Kyrie. What would happen to those guys if the Mavericks win? So if Luka wins a championship this year, he goes into next year as probably the MVP favorite and almost universally recognized as the best player in the league. Probably 75-80% of people will say Luka is the best player in the league. And he also gets put on a trajectory. He puts himself on a top 10 all-time trajectory, because what Luka's done already, coming as 5-6 years in the league already, 5 first team All NBAs, would be a championship, Finals MVP, ridiculous stats every year, All-Star games. I mean, everything you could possibly do. And if he were to win a championship at 25, 3 years younger, a younger age than LeBron and Michael Jordan won their first championship at, younger than Giannis won his first championship, younger than Jokic won his first championship, he would immediately become the player that has the best career trajectory ahead of Giannis, ahead of Jokic. If he wins a championship, he immediately has the best, highest ceiling out of any current player, and he might already have had that before then. Kyrie gets elevated to a new level, probably talked about as a top 15 player going into next year, and is easily one of the better, it becomes a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt, and will go down as one of the best wingmen, second best players, especially second best guards on a championship team, shot creator, supporting cast guard to your forward. That's kind of been Kyrie's perfect role. First to LeBron, now to Luka, and he'll be remembered for that. And it'll also go down as one of the better playoff runs in recent history. The Mavericks will have put together a great run, going against the Clippers in round 1, Thunder in round 2, Timberwolves in round 3, and then if they were to beat the Celtics in round 4, that's a gauntlet of teams. So yeah, there's a lot at stake here in terms of the Mavericks can jump up a lot. They can really improve their standing, but if they lose, I don't think too much happens. I think maybe they get more aggressive in free agency to try to get a star, to try to win it, more, or really go all in right now if they really think this group of guys is great. But I don't think that this is a great team. I think this is a really good team who's playing hot, and they have one all-time great player. So the Mavericks are in a good spot, but I think they're hot at the right time, and I don't necessarily see them as one of the biggest threats in years going forward. And if they win the championship this year, I would guess that would be the only championship in the Luka and Kyrie era. But so we'll see. But they don't have too high stakes, because if they win, great, and if they lose, it's not too bad for them. All right, so now I am going to get into the biggest storylines for the series. So the biggest storyline by far is the Kyrie versus Boston Celtics rivalry. And I think this is great. I think that this has been the best rivalry in the NBA since it's been going. It's easily the best rivalry now. Every Mavs versus Celtics game is electric. Every Nets versus Celtics game was even more energetic, and the atmosphere is great at those places, and everyone's booing Kyrie, and Kyrie's giving it back to the fans when it's just a great environment. It's what the NBA needs. It's what sports is all about, and it's just great competitive fire, and I think that's going to be on full display this series, and I just cannot wait to see that. And I think Kyrie will struggle, because he's struggled in Boston the last couple of years, and the Celtics have the best personnel to guards in the league. And I think Luka versus Tatum is a crazy good storyline. Two young guys came in the league around the same time. Luka is the better player, but Tatum is right behind him. Right now I have Luka 2 and Tatum 4. If Tatum wins the championship, he closes that gap a lot. My prediction for the series, I think the Celtics win in 5 games. And it's just, the Celtics are too good, they're too dominant, and they're too ready. I talked about it when I talked about the Celtics portion of my video. I think they're an all-time great team, and I think they get it done. I think the Celtics win the first 2 games in Boston. They split in Dallas, probably game 3 goes to Dallas, and they close it out in 5 in Boston. And I think Kyrie will struggle, and Dallas is going to have to deal with the overwhelming amount of talent from the Celtics. And the Celtics have the best personnel in the league to guard both Tatum and Kyrie. Jalen and Jason on the wings, Drew and Derek White at the guard positions, guarding those guys 1 through 4 is a nightmare. Kristaps with the length. It's why the Celtics have been so dominant all year. It's why they're the best team in the NBA. That's why they're one of the greatest teams of all time. And it's why they're going to win this year's championship in 5 games. Celtics over Mavs in 5. It's going to be a great finals. Can't wait.